This is the Free Zone Communique on the P4B, bringing hope to victims trapped behind the wire in blue cities. I'm your host, Matt Jordan. We have a great guest today, somebody who's been here before. We'll bring her on in just a minute, but there's a few things that have been rattling around in my head. One thing is another Peter Zeihan gig. I will often quote him as valid as often as I ding him. Usually I ding him when he gets political, because when he's talking demographics, when he's talking big picture, he's a numbers guy and he has a really good grasp of what's going on out there. But when he breaks political, he goes all girly, panty-clad left. And he's been saying something for years about demographics, and I have agreed with it. I've researched it. I've maybe I'm more shocked about it than he is. I don't know. But there's one place he falls down. He says, we're getting top heavy now with seniors. Seniors are leaving the economy and they are disposing of their income. They're not investing anymore. And that's true. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. Seniors are now spending tremendous amounts of money that they've saved all these years. They were set aside in the form of investments. Now it's ready cash and it's moving through the system. That's what you want. That's good for the economy. Investments good too. Investments are important too. Whether or not it damages you depends on you. You need to get yourself in the way of this cash that's moving through society. Find a want, need, or desire and fulfill it for someone. And then that cash goes to you. You're going to grow. Yes, our demographic situation is bad. Yes, anybody below the age of 35 needs to breed real fast. Or 10 to 12 years from now, you're going to regret it. We are going to go through a rough patch regardless. There's nothing we can do about that. Social Security and Medicare are about to get hit by a moving train. There's nothing we can do about that. It's going to happen. Then the politicians are going to panic and take steps far more radical than they need to, and steps they should have taken 30 years ago that would have been painless, seamless, and would have been far better off than we are today. So think about that. You're going to have to be a little entrepreneurial to take advantage of the economy as it's going to change. If you don't do it, all that money is going to end up in the hands of people who know how to do it and have been doing it for all their lives. Elon Musk is going to get that money. Bill Gates is going to get that money. George Soros, Jamie Dimon, they know how to get that money. You just got to get in the way of it.
This is the Free Zone Communiqué, transmitting from Virginia's unoccupied sector. If you think smart cities, DEI, censorship, government intrusion, bug paste, and other left-wing nonsense are no longer a possibility, think again. We've won one election with slim majorities. Our work to rebuild a free and sane America has just begun.
Joining us now is one of my favorite people, coming back after two previous visits, a very important lady in New York City, my friend Helen Q. Hi, Helen. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you, Matt?
I'm doing great. I'm going to bring us together here. It's been a while. A lot has changed. You were running for assembly at one point, I think the last time we spoke. And then you switch gears.
Yes. The assembly seat in New York State and the city seat in the city council in Lower Manhattan, they overlap a great deal of the areas that I am interested to serve. And then I find myself particularly suitable to serve these two areas. So that's why I switch gears from either assembly or city council, because these two seats are currently not functioning properly for our people in Lower Manhattan.
Right, right.
So I think I can contribute if I can win either seat to serve my people here.
Yeah, well, you've always had your finger on the pulse. You always have a good understanding of what's going on in that district. I know you've been up against the political beast, um, and that makes it tough, but you've been hanging in there. I just had an interview. I keep talking about this because it was such a great show. He's such a great guy. With Don Mann. He's a former member of SEAL Team 6.
Mm.
And uh, he's written a book about motivation, Reaching Beyond Boundaries, I think it's called. There'll be a link to that. There'll be a link to the interview I had with him. But he talks about setting the macro goal, the big goal, and getting that in front of you, and then working out the little steps that's going to get you there. So, in your vision for New York, if they gave Helen Q a wish list and said, "Do this for New York," what would you most like to see as a result of your work?
Thank you for asking that. I think the entire New York needs a fundamental cultural change. That means people need to be more informed and then also work with our current weakness and strengthen those. So the entire New York right now is run by activists and not by professionals. By what I mean is, let's say we have a very simple issue about bike lanes, and the bike lanes are very poorly designed. If you can think of any city that is very poorly designed with their bike lanes, that will be New York City. And the entire street, after you put in the bike lanes, it basically shut down almost 2 lanes of the original 4 or 5 lane street and create a humongous congestion. And prior to that, those 4 lanes are already very heavily loaded because of the high traffic. We have 8 million people here. So why do we have those bike lanes? It's because of activists. And the activists use that as a way and their ideals being improperly enter into city governance. And I don't think that's appropriate because we need experts. If you want to incorporate bike lanes, if you want to incorporate time that you use bikes, you need to do studies. You need to have solid facts, how many people are using the bike lanes, what kind of effect it will have, and how often you open the bike lanes. All these will be point of study by a serious government. And New York City, the city council have 51 seats, and most of them are activists. They don't have any knowledge, and I don't mean I have knowledge to design a bike lane, but I do have the knowledge and expertise to understand if we want to implement the bike lane idea, we have to have real experts. I need to assemble a team. I need to give proposals to assemble a team. And right now, we don't have that kind of management skills and expertise in our city council. That's why we are in a mess, because you cannot work on your passion, work on your impulse. Your impulse could be misleading.
A small example of what I talk about all the time. My tagline is bringing hope to victims trapped behind the wire in blue cities.
Yes.
The free zone is. And this is just an example of just that. The people who run these cities And New York has got to be number two behind LA. Have one thing in mind: their next political objective and how much money they can scam from the system. How many honorariums, how many uh, nieces and nephews they can hire uh, to work their campaigns and work in their offices. Um, and the motivation is not there to make intelligent choices.
Correct.
The,
Number one is the activist that's pretending to govern. I don't mean activists have no value. I highly value them, but they need to continue to be activists in a more advisory role to professionals that can really govern our city. So that's what I think their role will be, and their role are valuable. But they cannot be the governor. They cannot be the people. They cannot be the council that implement laws.
well,
So
at least they
another
have to
example.
shift gears. They have to change their attitude. A lot of people have risen up to power who were something else before they were in government,
Correct.
but they came in with a mindset of I'm going to listen and I'm going to think and I'm going to use reason
Yeah.
in my
And
decisions, whether they're a businessman or an actor or whatever they were before, or an activist, a protester. And I'm going to come into office and I'm not going to be governed by the same emotions and the same decisions I made as an activist or an actor or whatever.
correct.
Right now, that bike lane example, uh, you had 2 lanes each way on a certain street. That's 16, 20 feet of space so 2 cars can get by. And now to make room for something this wide, they've turned the city on its ear.
Yes, exactly. And then I give you another example, like the marijuana usage. Uh, I recognize that there's a group of people that might need marijuana for medical reasons. However, the city's current prescription policies may make it not as easy to obtain medical marijuana. So they want to make it easier. And I understand, but what is the percentage of that population? Is it suitable to have marijuana shop every corner of New York City? Even the governor, who is a very progressive governor, Kathy Hochul, she said she is fed up by the marijuana shop every corner of the city. So I don't think that will be a suitable thing for our entire city. And my opponent, I think his biggest achievement is to open a marijuana shop for his brother. So his brother opened a 2-story marijuana shop, the first to obtain a legal operation license, and occupy a corner store areas 2-story high, larger than one of the biggest family associations in our Chinatown area. And I think that is not right. It's bigger than the biggest Starbucks for 2 stories high. And that is not the image I think we want to propagate. And all these
I
because
know.
people did not do a systematic study of what they think might be helpful. So I think this has become a very major issue. Same as the bail reform. Bail reform is targeted to the less than 1% of the people that later on did not convicted with any wrongdoing and they were innocent. And they are targeted to those people. And when they are poor, they don't have bail. So they end up needing to wait in jail until their time for court.
Yeah.
And that period of time, they feel, oh, it's so unfair. True, it's unfair because you happen to be at the wrong place at the wrong time and you were innocent. But because you are at the wrong place, wrong time, and the wrong circumstances, that person was being arrested. And it happened that person was poor, so they need to be released. But that shouldn't work with repeated offenders in our city. Our city has about 261 repeated offenders. And
Yeah,
I think,
your holding jails are revolving doors. I mean,
yeah,
the win
so
to go
these
out.
people, we already know they were repeatedly offenders. They should not be released again. And even though they are still waiting for trial, but it doesn't mean we have no evidence that these people should stay. You see what I mean?
Mhm.
So they should not be released. And our city, if you were to concern about the 1%, I think it will be um, have the advocate groups source fund and just help out whoever you think is being wrongfully accused and help them to get bail. I think that's the easiest thing. Make it a, a group sponsored bail system rather than no bail system. So it's very easy to do if you don't have um, uh, money for bail.
Yeah, these are important issues, and you could call them micro, even though they're pretty big issues. But they build toward a better city, and
Yeah,
that's talking
and
about the macro.
the macro objective is activists. uh, If they cannot govern, they shouldn't be the governing body. We need to elect people who are capable of governing, and that is one of the progressive uh, weakness. Is they do not look at people's qualifications. They look at how loud you shout. So even if you don't qualify, they don't care. So I think that mentality has hurt um, the government of our city and every progressive cities. A lot of them are charming, are advocates, are activists, but they are not qualified governing bodies.
So we
So
could
we
call the
have to have
macro. The
that.
macro could be recreate government in New York back to what it used to be. I'm
Yeah,
talking 50, 60 years ago.
we
More,
have obviously I can tell you the engineers that designed the subways over 100 years ago were excellent, and the city at that time that allowed them to design those tracks and the subway systems are great government. And we built many great structures and architects. We built Grand Central, we built Penn Station, all these great structures. And right now, we it will take how many years? Over a decade to even build a small segment of the subway track.
right,
That
right.
that just demonstrate and cost so much money. And that's why one of the reasons when Trump was announcing his bid for the presidency in 2015, that's the example he used. He said the government used $6 million to build a ice skate rink, and it was still not built until they eventually decided to ask Trump to
That
help.
was just to repair it. That was just to restore it.
Yeah, and Trump built it,
Right.
a wonderful rink, less than 1 million, and in 9 months. So that shows you the weakness of a progressive government. They they just move the money around, and everybody gets the money, but not the real people that will do the work. It's still the
I'll tell you what that's from, what causes that. And that's the size of government. There
Mhm.
might be perfectly competent people sitting at all these desks, but there's too many of them. You remember the public restroom, just a one-holer in LA. They did a victory dance because they got the cost down to $1.5 million for one toilet and a building around it, a little shack around it.
Yeah.
I mean, it
So
was nice material. It didn't look ugly on the street, but that's because of all the red tape that has to be gone through, and the engineering specs have to be paid for, and this has to be. It's all um, um, a big mess of steps
correct. Thank you
scattered
for
around. Instead of making it a streamlined process every time. Streamline. This is how we build things in New York or Virginia or California. We start with the idea, we move to the planning, then we do the approvals. The whole thing, one committee of people who know what the hell they're doing, people from the industry,
Yeah.
do the approvals, hire the contractors. But to do that, you would have to take a broad axe to New York City government.
Yes, Matt, you just brought out a very good point. Number one is the very redundant and very costly and mostly bureaucratic approval process for any small business, not just building things. Any small business, you almost got bankrupt before you even started. So that's why a lot of the small business, they have a hard time to start. And after they started, they struggle to survive because of all these red tape you're talking about. And New York City should not be like that. And we should not have all these red tapes that suffocate small businesses. And on top of that, they have a lot of fines that are arbitrary. They just are there for the government to attack small businesses.
Right.
And with the new looming effect of Mandani become the mayor, we are more in a danger of having those fines, having those struggles. And my opponent is in the same team as Mandani in the progressive wing, which means they are extremists. They don't care about the fines. They consider if you own something, you are their enemy. So they only want public-owned housing, public-owned stores, public-owned groceries. So they don't care about small businesses. So this is the danger of my opponent. And that's why I ran against him. If he got continue to be in governance and people like him who has no experience, they only work in government sectors and make government money. That's why they support a very redundant and ineffective government. But they do not support small business. They do not support innovation. They do not support cost-effective solutions. All these are merit-based solutions that you need to get a good answer to the problems we face, whatever that problem is. But if your interest is to earn government money, then of course you want to increase the regulation. You want to increase that process.
It's a scam. I mean,
Yeah.
the motivation, it may start out honorably, we're going to charge these fees for zoning and these fines for breaching the zoning rules. But eventually it becomes an issue of motivation. The motivation becomes to make money, not to build a better building, not to be honest brokers of what occurs.
Because they consider their role, because they want to make money sitting at their desk, pushing paperwork as a government employee, just as much as someone who works their butts off on the ground. I don't think that's a right attitude. I think we have positions in this world. Some positions are getting paid a little bit higher than the others. Some people are making millions of dollars, and some others are making minimum wage. So in society, that is what we have. And I do not think that in every corner we have fairness. That means someone who works very hard. But the fairness works when people become innovative, when people become educated with and skilled with their expertise areas. So I think we need to recognize that is a merit-based process. So we see many people work from very low level of jobs, but with their diligence, with their hardworking, and more education and more hard work, they move up. And that is the process we need to recognize and honor. Otherwise, you don't give anybody a chance unless they work for the government.
Well, let me do two things here. Actually, three things, and we'll do these three, and that'll wrap us up. Number one, you have this sweet, kindly, pretty appearance, and you have a very direct way of looking at things. But you didn't come down with the last drop of rain. You're a credentialed individual. Give us a thumbnail of your background so people know who we're dealing with here.
Oh, thank you so much, Matt. I graduated from Zhongshan University in mainland China. That was one of the elite universities, ranked number 6 among all the elite universities like Tsinghua, Beijing University. So this is the best university, one of the best, like the Ivy League in China. And I came to America as a graduate student, and then I become in University of Illinois in Chicago. I got my master's degree in engineering, and I became an engineer. And then, like what I described, I work as a first engineer, and then I become a senior engineer, and then I become engineering team leader, and then I become engineering manager, and then I become engineering program manager. That I manage over millions of dollars of projects in Silicon Valley for engineering high-tech projects in Sun Micron.
At that time, Silicon Valley was popping.
It's
was
popping.
Growing fast.
Yes, and then of course Sun Micron Systems later was sold, and then no longer is in business right now. But I often joke. I say, look, after I left, Sun is shut down. So, but then I became a Christian. So that was a turning point in my life. I became a Christian. I felt very much in debt to the salvation love that Lord Jesus Christ gave me. So I felt a strong calling from God that I need to serve my community as a Christian pastor, to tell them about the good news of Christ's salvation. So I actually resigned from a 6-figure job at a very young age, before I even turned 30, to work as a Christian minister. And I did that for quite some time until I become more politically sensitive. Prior to that, I had to, confess I was not that politically involved. I'm like a normal voter. You will see maybe one issue, maybe 2 issues. Maybe I look at your face, I listen to you, and then I like you, I don't like you, and then I make my decisions based on these very shallow judgments. So I was a very well-educated person, but on political front, I became a very uneducated person, uninformed person, very shallow voter, and I've been like that for a while until 2015, when Trump started to run for office. I didn't know Trump at that time, even though he's a famous person, but I didn't watch his show. I didn't know. I saw his name on many buildings, but I didn't connect him to be an actual person. I thought it's honoring somebody.
Yeah.
I didn't make much connections between him and those buildings that he has. But later on, I get to understand the crisis America faced, and radical Islamic movements in the global stage, that they want to take over cities, like how they take over London, step by step. And then eventually London right now, they have pockets of Sharia law regions. France has the same thing. So these will become a majority. And Europe will become Islamic Europe. So these are very dangerous signs. And European birth rate is under 2. So meaning their population are not reproducing themselves.
Right.
And we are facing the same struggle right now. A lot of people, young
I just
people,
wrote that in
they don't
an article. We got to start
educate.
breeding.
Yeah.
We need to breed.
Yeah, you need an outburst, but the entire abortion movement and the entire woman does not need a feminist movement. I mean the radical kind. So all these things become radical. When they were not radical, it's reasonable. Um, you want women to have the chance to, for example, like me, get elected to become a pastor. If you are a woman of God, and then God has called you for service, then that woman needs to be a pastor. But the feminist movement take it to a whole different extreme, that women no longer need men, and women do not want to have family. Women do not want to have children, and motherhood is no longer honored. So all these are taken to extreme, and this is a movement for decades. And until today, we have this ideal to embrace uh, uh, a faith that will suffocate all the liberty we have. And right now, the feminists are supporting Islamic radicalism, and that is radicalism that denounces women to even have the right to show their face and wear a dress and have hair shown in the public. So how did we join? That's why I say it's almost like a globe. When you go two extremes, you go to your opponent.
Yeah, yeah.
So when the feminist movement went two extremes, in 2025, they are embracing radical Islamism.
It's a horseshoe. It's a
Yeah,
horseshoe. They're so opposite that they're practically together. They've gone almost
exactly.
360.
So
And,
I think
and
that was
the
the thing.
Islamic movement,
Yes.
the radical Islam and the political Islamic movement of people, I think most of the religious people involved in politics believe in Allah as much as I do. But that's a separate issue. They have purposely aligned themselves with people they detest because that's where the regulation monkeys live. That's where the political loud screamers and rioters and activists live, is on the left.
But right now, we have the Islamic uh, movement is being radicalized. I personally think we need to allow religious liberty, like what America allowed. Some people are atheists. Some people are uh, are Buddhist. Some people are Muslims, and some people are Jews. And I think we can, and some other Hindus. So we have religious liberty. I don't think we want a theocracy like in the Middle Age Europe, that if you don't believe in Trinity God, then I'm going to hang you on the stick. No, I don't promote that. However, we must recognize in terms of theology, they are different. That said, politically, I think we need to be aware of where the movement leads us. So we cannot look at where it is now. Right now, Mandani is walking around with a big smiling face. He's marching on the LGBT parade, right? The gay parade. However, he's shaking hands with a woman hardly wearing any clothes on the LGBT parade. However, we must recognize the Islamic radical movement is to push women to not even show their face and have absolutely no right, and they throw off LGBT from the window or the balcony.
I think
So
Ma'am
all
Downey,
these, and they want to um, uh, declare war. They already did. Declare war against Christians, declare war against Jews, and possibly other religion when they get a chance. So I think we need to recognize those as well. So radicalism of these movements are very dangerous. And as a city council or city mayor, you need to recognize that. And if you don't, that means you are not sensitive to govern. And I think
Ma'am
this,
Downey's going to be the worst of the worst in the areas that we're talking about. Number one, politically, he's a Maoist. He's a student of Mao Zedong. All his ideas are right out of the Mao society destroying playbook. We want free this and free that, and the he's combining that, not yet, but he will, with an Islamic bent. He is an Islamic radical. If you go back to some of his old videos, he didn't look like he does now. He wasn't in a business suit. He's a radical. All these people that are cozying up to him, once he's firmly established, will be his first victims. He will eat them alive. He will, just like everybody does, they come into power and they want to surround themselves with people that look like them. You're going to see a lot of radical imams in City Hall in New York. This is one of those times in history where it's important for conservatives to steamroll the left, not just nationally, but definitely in New York City.
I think both.
There can't be a
Yeah.
vestige of this kind of lunacy left to stand.
Yes, you're right, Matt. I want to highlight one data that you probably will find it very interesting. In 2022, when we first met, when I was running for the assembly in 2022,
Right.
I received 7,000 votes. Okay. Among the 7,000, 2,000 were from Republicans. And the rest of the 5,000 plus some change, 5,000 something, total 7,000 something. The rest of the 5,000 were from Democrats and independent. However, New York, in my district, which is the background that I have,
Yeah.
we have over 8,000 Republicans. That's registered Republican. Over 8,000, yet only a quarter, 25% came out to vote. Only 25.
Isn't that stupid?
So,
Isn't that stupid?
So this is what I think is the failure. You handed your city to the people that you don't think can give you a good life. And some people say you voted for it. And then I say New York did not vote for it because they just didn't bother to vote.
Right.
So, yes, it's correct that we have more Democrats in my district. However, the Republicans did not come out to vote. So I hope your show will help to alert more Republicans to come out to vote. Maybe that percentage from 25% will increase to 35% after your show.
That's always my message.
I'm counting on you, Matt, to advertise for me and to tell every channel you possibly have and ask them to say, you need to come out to vote for Helen. And if you want your city to change, and by the way, if Mandani is going to be the mayor, which it looks like it's very possible because everybody else are not dropping out. So the votes are not going to be in a coalition. And if he becomes mayor, we need strong people in the city hall, in city council that will counter the radical ideas of the mayor. And Helen Q
Radicals don't tend to
is
listen.
the one that you can count on.
Radicals don't tend to listen. They tend to justify any action,
But
and they ignore.
but
They
that's
ignore
why,
the people who are just
that's why when you counter them, it's not by reason. Yeah. If you want to reason with them, it's very difficult because they are unreasoned, like what you said. They have their passion and that's it. So they are like a runaway teen. So I work with many, many runaway teens when I work with many families as pastor. And I still work with some of them now, even though I'm not as active to preach and to teach, but I still do. I still preach. I still work with groups families when they have great needs. I am still a pastor. So I think they need to have very capable people that can actually work uh, with their characteristics. So that's what I think I can do because I have a track record of doing that. I help to keep a community garden open when the city and the left activists already trying to make it as a parking lot. And they reverse their votes.
They used to be the community garden gurus.
Yes,
Now, anything that makes more power for the city and uh, uh, anything that can be destroyed and turned into something ugly,
yeah.
that's what they pursue. But I will say this. I will say two things. Number one, my message is always get out and vote. How lazy or disconnected can you be where you can't just, I mean, you're talking about a small area, that area behind you,
Yes.
not hard
Lower
to get
Manhattan.
to the polling station. Get down there, cast your vote, do it in person. None of this mail-in balloting crap because certain zip codes disappear and other zip codes get extra ballots. So vote in person, get down there. Don't be lazy, and get it done. Get Helen in, get every conservative, whether it's libertarian, Republican, or just conservative party, into office so they can save New York. Because I promise you this, I'm pretty good at spotting patterns, and most of my predictions come true. If Mom Donnie gets in, New York will not recover for 60 years. All the money, Democrat money, Republican money, independent money, religious money, atheist money, all the money will exit the city, will go somewhere else because what is already pretty much a bureaucratic nightmare in New York will become awful, absolutely awful.
I agree. Um, one thing is um, we do have a term limit for mayor. So he got 2 terms. So ideally, um, that damage will not be that much. However, what I think is more damaging is a call, almost like a call to jihad. Okay, it's almost like a call to jihad the entire United States. We already have people working in Congress um, that is uh, want to push the Islamic movement, and now we have city mayors want to push that, and that is a very dangerous thing for America. So I think uh, on that aspect is more dangerous is what comes after Mandani. He will do a lot of damage to our city, but I can also say many other mayors did a lot of damage as well. COVID did a humongous damage to our city, and every single progressive, just progressive, leftist um, city council did a lot of damage in our city. So what I want to say is uh, we do have a lot of damage for our city already. Uh, However, the movement of actually causing many city office like mayor, uh,
City council.
city council, state offices. These will highlight the jihadists takeover, just like what they did in the UK.
That's what I mean by 60 years to recover.
Oh,
You're
yes.
talking about people who are not interested in blending in with society, the melting pot. they're interested in this is my little patch and I'm going to dominate it. And I'm going to get people in to help me dominate it. We're going to dominate it. Uh, and they say it all the time. They say, we're going
Yes,
to take over. We're going to outbreed you,
yes,
outnumber you.
yes,
And when the money leaves, I mean, I did compare Mamdani to de Blasio and other idiots. Um, there's always been, down, 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 and New York comes up a little bit and then down, down. I think Mamdani's going to drive it over a cliff, and nobody's going to want to be there or work there. And when that happens, you have a ghost town. You have Detroit. Have you seen Detroit lately?
yeah. It's heartbreaking. I have seen Detroit more than now, 20 years ago. Actually, more than 20 years ago. I have talked to a guy who is very passionate politically, and I actually encouraged him to go to this Detroit and run for office. um, I still encourage a good conservative person to go to Detroit and run for office there because that city needs a big turnaround. And um, it's still a wonderful city that you can, I think it can turn around. Let's just imagine, let's say if Milei from Argentina, or let's say Trump, if they are being put as a mayor of Detroit, don't you think they have the ability to turn the city around in 5 to 10 years? I think so. I think in the short term you can, because the a lot of buildings are being abandoned, but they are very good structure. They were built a while back with very good material, so they are not they are destroyed in terms of value and the neighborhood and what's inside. The interior is destroyed, the windows are all broken. But in terms of the building, they're still very good buildings.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. The old building
Maybe something that can be taken over. I'm not into real estate or construction, so I don't know what's the room there for
there
renovation.
there are a lot of people who say, well, there's certain neighborhoods that are just literally collapsing. There's nobody there anymore.
Oh, okay.
But in the city, the old uh, early previous century, mid-century buildings, stone and steel are they can be renovated, used, the city can be rebuilt.
Yeah, if you build industrialized company, let's say you want to refine steel, a steel company or some other company, you could use those company. And the moment you create that kind of investment, you can create a lot of jobs, and then people will come back. The reason people left is because there's no job and no good life. So why do I want to live there?
Well, let's
Uh,
let's set this goal
yeah,
to not have to rebuild New York from rubble.
right,
Let's prevent the rubble from being created in the first place. And that means
correct.
no ma'am Donnie,
Yes.
slash the size of city government, get as many conservative, responsible people, even independents with a brain, into office so that New York doesn't fall apart. And with that,
Right,
we can go from here to this instead of
right.
going over the cliff.
Correct. I think your gesture is perfect. Exactly that we want to make it an upward track
Yeah.
and lift up our city. And I believe I am the right person to do it. And
We
I
need
hope
20 of
all your
you.
audience will give me a vote. And I hope your audience will give me a contribution. I thank you, Matt, for your contribution. Uh, and I particularly hope that New York City residents will give me a donation because their donation will be matched by 8 times.
New York needs lots and lots of Helens, is what it needs. Let me clarify because I'm all over the map on your uh, party. What party do you hail from now?
uh, Republican Party,
Republican.
and
Okay.
I'm also on the ticket for Conservative Party as well.
Well, excellent, excellent. And the vote is when?
November 4th.
Ooh.
It's November 4th on Tuesday, where we have the general election. But in New York, we have 10 days of early voting.
Yeah.
So people can early vote for 10 days. And I know sometimes we don't want the mail-in ballot, but if someone is traveling for business or working abroad,
Sure, legitimate absentee. I'm all for that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they should do the mail-in ballot, and we need to win the mail-in ballot as well.
Yeah. The other
So
thing,
yeah, so I think some people have two residents. They may be taking a winter vacation in Virginia,
yeah, yeah.
and then they're not there to vote. So they definitely need to be requesting a mailing ballot. And
Letitia James, Letitia James may need
to
a
request.
mail-in ballot from Virginia.
Yes.
In the house she shares with her dad, who she called her husband.
Oh, okay.
Okay. First, how do people support you directly? If you give me a plug and send me the link as well, but tell the folks now.
Sure. Yes, my Twitter account or X account is at Helen, Helen, numerical number 4, NY. Helen for NY. And that's my Twitter account. And I hope people will follow me. And on my Twitter profile, you can also find a link that goes to my official donation link. Then you can donate there. And you're welcome to contact me, DM me, or just search for my background. I'm on LinkedIn. I am on many search links. So I hope it's very easy to find me.
Yeah, I'm hoping the folks who see this will help build up Helen's war chest.
Yes, thank you very much.
It's a worthy pursuit. Maybe you've never been involved with politics before, but here we got a person that's just like us, just a basic, honest, regular person.
Yeah.
And she's fighting City Hall literally. She's going to take the
Yeah.
fight forward.
I think there's some talks about like whether I support the government, such as mayor, city council, state assembly or senate, whether I support those seats to be hold to be contested. I think we need to pay attention to these local offices, because I noticed because of the opening, even Congress, okay, and I think maybe Senate too, they do not allow citizens, they do not restrict citizenship. So there are a lot of naturalized citizens. I am one myself that are running for these offices. And some of them are like me, who are patriots, who love America, who are grateful for America. And we want to love the city. We want to love our country and give back from that grateful heart to give back. But some are not necessarily the case. So I think we need to be more diligent to educate our voters. And we need to vote for people that will support our values, American values of liberty, our American values of hard work and effective solutions. I think America differs from, let's say, UK in terms of our goal. America is a country that value a solution. I think we value targeting a problem and providing a solution for that problem. I think that's what America is superior than other countries. Even other countries like the UK, France, they probably have a democratic government and not a dictatorship. However, why is America so successful? I think that is why. And in the past 200-300 years, America has been more successful comparing to those countries that are more in general in decline. I think is because we live our lives by providing solutions, and we want to quickly solve our problems. And I think that's American value, and I think we will treasure that, and we will be successful because of that.
Well, I tell you, those are all the things that make it work.
Yeah.
There are people trying to tear that away from us. Uh, you're an immigrant who didn't come here and then say, I want to turn America into China. I want
Correct.
America to be America. Well, there's people now who want America to be Mexico, where they come from, or to be Mogadishu. That's what people are going to try to turn New York into. Um, it's it's people like you, citizens, natural born, and people who came here who love the country more than people born here, unfortunately, who are going to make the difference.
Yes.
Have you been getting any of this rain?
Oh, yes. Actually, yesterday I was out meeting voters and visiting my district, small businesses. I was out yesterday, and when was going home, I was coming home. We got the torrential rain, and it was like monsoon.
Yeah.
And the subway was shut down. I took a bus, a quick decision, which turned out to be a good decision. The subway shut down for hours. So that's another example of how we mismanage our money. We spend $6 billion. 6 billion. That's a lot of money, and we spend that for illegal aliens and to accommodate their medical, education, housing, food, when they are not grateful about it. In my son's school, there was one illegal migrant, and the city assigned one language teacher, one-on-one help just for that one student. I don't think that's right, because that
Unbelievable.
funding could have used for music programs, drawing programs, entrepreneur programs, business programs that can help so many young people. But they were being assigned to that one language teacher that's going to translate every sentence for that student to catch up with school. I
That's
think that's
insane. That's
wrong.
insane. That is insane. Kids pick up language very quickly. And the
Yes,
best
but
way for a kid to pick up the language is to not have a translator. We had a girl when I was in second or third grade. She came from Italy directly into our classroom, did not speak a word of English. By the end of the year, she was caught up with everybody and speaking fluently.
exactly.
Kids are
That's one thing.
resilient and fast.
Yeah,
It's
that's one thing. And then they are young kids. They are not even 10 years old. So that's one thing. And secondly, you don't spend money like that. That is poor management. And my opponent, I want to end by this note. My opponent wants to use $1 million to build a dog park. I think it's a misuse of $1 million. I doubt that money is being used properly. Why? I asked many construction companies. They all quote me less than 20,000. So it's less than 200,000. So it's a 100,000 to 200,000 or even less project.
she's trying
Where
to
did
take
the
care of her
rest of the
developer friend.
where did the rest of the 900 and 800,000 go? So and even 100,000 is already a luxurious dog park. That's what they told me.
And when you're done, when that's all said and done, if she gets that park, it will end up costing $3.9 million. The
To
$1
maintain
million
it.
is always the lie.
Yeah.
I have this many people I want to get money from in the form of kickbacks and donations. So I'm going to get them as much money as I possibly can, and they're going to charge me top dollar for every blade of grass.
Yes, yes. So I question my opponent, his incapability of uh, creating sensible policies and governing the money. I don't think he's capable. He doesn't have a sense of what $1 million is. And he never asked how much it will cost. He never asked these very intelligent questions. So he's incompetent. He should not be a city council. He should be an advocate. He should be an activist, and he probably can make more money.
Well, there's
Uh,
there's a disease in government, and we let them get away with it. We too many times believe it. A politician will say, "I spent $7 million to do this." They're bragging about the money amount that the more they spend, nobody questions the quality. They just spent a lot of money. If you're seen spending a lot of money, that is supposed to translate in our heads as, well, you must be really great because you spent all kinds of money and you gave us things.
I think we should spend money, but not the way that we did.
Oh,
We should spend that $1 million. I don't think we should put it in the bank. We should spend that 1 million. We have many things like what I just described. Children's, they can have an entrepreneur program. Right now in the summer, my son is expert in swimming, so he's in the competitive level. So I subscribed him for a summer program, and we went for the first day yesterday. And guess what? All the swimmers there are beginners who have never touched water much. So he doesn't fit into that program. And the city sponsored that program, but that program is not for my son. So
fortunately, to be a
he's
competitive swimmer in the summertime, you got to be a
Oh,
member of a club.
yeah. So maybe you have at least one program for experts, right? The kids should learn how to do business. Then when they grow up, they realize, a lot of these regulations are very bad. He
About that.
himself, my opponent himself, should take a business lesson himself. That's why he should understand all these red tape that he created, all these fines that he imposed on small business. They're going to kill the business. He said he went to some business school. Obviously, he got a F because he doesn't seem to be utilizing any of the knowledge he has. I didn't. I work in a business environment, so I have hands-on learning and experience. So I know how much it will hurt. I ask critical questions: how much it cost, all these questions, and he doesn't even ask. Have you ever seen people go to buy things without asking how much it costs? Unless you're buying just a hamburger, right? Even hamburger, a lot of people ask how much it
I
costs.
I
In
always
New
look at
York,
the
you
cost.
have $50 hamburgers.
I'm a poor man. I always ask how much.
Exactly. That's just a one basic question as business 101. Even my son knows how to ask how much it costs and make a decision. So he's not even qualified as a teenager.
Are you still planning to advocate for career training in the trades?
Yes, I am. I am. I think it should be teenager training. If not, then maybe young adult training. Teenagers should get more basic things, such as hard work training. They need to have the integrity of valuing hard work. Right now, people want to be rich without doing work. I think that is going to hurt. Uh, they cannot do that. They need to learn. You need to work hard. You need to put in the sweat. So I think when you are young, when you are middle school, high school, college, that's what you need to learn. You need to learn. You need to put in the sweat. I don't care the result. I think the goal should not be how much money you make. I think the goal is, can I put in the sweat? That should be the
Did Mike Rowe
education
ever
goal.
get back to you? Mike
What?
Rowe? Did Mike Rowe ever get back to you?
Not yet.
No, he's the dirty jobs guy. I spoke to him about you.
Oh, thank you.
I would love for him to come up and advocate for you and say, look, this really
Yeah,
needs to get done. And
yeah.
he's got the program. He's got a scholarship program
Oh,
that's the whole thing is run by professionals, not run by the government. The United States, DC, has 47 jobs training programs. Almost none of them have ever graduated one graduate. There is no return on investment. The money's wasted every year, and it still exists. The money is still spent every year, and nothing happens. They don't do anything. But guys like Mike Rowe, they give scholarship, and they take these kids from this is a hammer up to this is how you frame a three-story house or
I would love
lighter
that.
or plum, you know.
I would love that. And I think the entire training or business model that Mike Rowe, your friend, has sounds very intriguing and interesting to me, and sounds like something I would support. I want training to be effective. It needs to be measured. So there has been a movement in the education system in New York that they do not want to even give you a grade. If you take an exam, they don't give you a grade. So you don't even know you got 70, you got 80, you got 90, you got 100. You don't know where you are. Maybe you got 20, you know. So they want you to only participate. And then they give your grade like 20% for your participation. I don't think that's correct. I understand in graduate school, maybe that's correct because you are entering a more advanced level where you provide debatable ideas, you create an environment to discuss things. Because I study at PhD program at Columbia University, so I understand in that level of study, there's not yet a correct answer to certain things. It's still in the exploration stage that people in like mind and competent minds are exploring what might be a very feasible answer or understanding of certain historical facts.
Right.
So that is okay. But we are talking about teaching young kids when they are 7, 8 years old. They need to know what's right and wrong. They need to know how do you understand a math question. You cannot have people who don't know math being your heart surgeon in the future. That doesn't work that way.
You'll
So I
never
think,
become one. You'll never
yeah,
be a heart surgeon because
yeah.
the kids.
So I think we have people like that. We call them DEI hires. They will hire because they are female. They will hire because of their skin color is black, or some other skin colors, or some other backgrounds. They are poor. You know, I don't think these are qualifications for jobs. They are. These should not be hindrance for people to be successful. When I came to America, I was super poor. More poor than any poor Americans. That I can tell you. Every poor Americans in America has housing, has food. I don't.
Yeah.
I did not have those when I was poor. I borrow money. So I am more poor than every poor Americans, right? So poor being in poverty is not a qualification. It should not hinder you to be successful, because I see a lot of people that's getting welfare that are not doing anything during the daytime. Right now, they are just hanging. If you are hanging, then you end up smoking marijuana, all these kind of things that are harmful to you. So these people, I believe a lot of them are smarter than me. I go to my district in Lower East Side. I talk to them. I talk to them frankly. I tell them, I said, you guys, I think you are smarter than me. You are obviously stronger than me. And you are obviously also younger than me. I think you can be more successful than me. But you need to get out of smoking and hanging like this. And they were very shocked to hear what I say. and they were very receptive. They don't get offended. So who is offended? I think the politicians, like my opponent, Christopher Mate, he's offended when I say those things because he doesn't want these people to succeed. I think these people, if you ignite their internal power, they can be very successful. But he doesn't want them to succeed. He wants them to keep on government housing, and he wants them to keep on government welfare to feed them the spaghettis that he hand out for $5, where you can buy it with your own money for less than 50 cents. So that's what he wants. And then where did the 450 go? Government agencies. So he wants these people to keep them in poverty so that the government agency can profit off these people. And that's very evil.
You just described the modus operandi of the Democratic Party today. Keep them dependent, keep them cowed, and when they bring in the smart cities and the city-run stores and the 15-minute cities, they are going to be imprisoned. That's the idea. People like you and me, average Americans across the country, want just the opposite. They want to cut people loose to live their potential. Right now, the schools are teaching them to be obedient little proles who don't know anything. Anyway, I have taken up enough of your time.
Thank you so much, Matt. You're wonderful,
I appreciate
as always.
you being here, and I want everybody to take care of Helen, get Helen elected in November. Turn out to support her. There'll be information on her X page where you can turn out and actively participate. And for Christ's sakes, vote. Don't be a wimp when it comes to voting. You're going to have 10 days to do it. You cannot possibly be that lazy that you can't get your butt out to vote. So thank you, Helen. It's been awesome. And I hope to see you again real soon. Hopefully in November, we'll do the show about how you just assumed your office.
Well, I hope maybe I can do the show again in mid-October to get people more out to vote.
That'd be perfect.
And I think 3 months from now, it will be very heated in the race. And if I have time, I would love to come over.
Good. That'd be awesome.
Thank you so much, Matt. You are wonderful, as always.
Bye, young lady. Thanks for joining us. There will be a number of links we talked about in the video with Helen and some others that I want you to note. I'll bring up the Don Man again. And by the way, if you missed the All-Star special, it was on a couple of days ago. No biggie. You don't have to necessarily watch the All-Star game, or it could be post-game. You may have watched the game. You'll still enjoy the podcast. Ron and Sam are great baseball guys. They're interesting to listen to. So I'll leave a link to that too. The All-Star special.
Please tell a friend about the Free Zone Communiqué. We live and die with the share and subscribe buttons. Please use affiliate and sponsor buttons to support our work. Thank you very much for joining us today.